Hi students, today I am here with one video regarding computer system. This is our actually chapter number 1. So this is totally theoretical chapter. Let us see one by one all the topics from this chapter. So first I'll start with an introduction. Introduction to a computer system. A computer is an electronic device that can be programmed to accept data as an input, process on that data and generate the result, means that is output. A computer along with additional hardware and software together is called as a computer system. It's not a single monitor, not a single CPU, not only a keyboard, mouse. So when we are connecting all these things together, for example, CPU, monitor, printer, keyboard, mouse, of course, then any device you are attaching extra devices like printer, scanner, anything, speakers. So when these all things are united, all things are connected with each other, that is called as a complete computer system. Let us move ahead. A computer system primarily comprises of a central processing unit, memory, input or output devices and storage devices. So all these components function together as a single unit to deliver the desired output. A computer system comes in various forms and sizes. It can vary from a high-end server machine to a personal desktop, laptop, tablet computer or a smartphone. That is also an example of a computer system. So let us see the main structure of a computer system, or how the computer system is working, which are the main components of computer system. So in this figure you can see there input device, then one big unit is there, that is called as a central processing unit, and the last one is their output devices. So these three are very important components of any computer system. See, the first one is their input devices, the devices which are collecting information, giving information to the computer, that is called as input. Then after that, central processing unit, in that three main parts are there. First is their memory unit, that is primary memory, then control unit CU and arithmetic logic unit ALU. So these three main parts or components are working as a central processing unit. In that, additional part is their secondary storage devices. When we are going to save some data, save some work, so that is saved in these secondary devices, that is called as like hard disks, floppy, CD, pen drive, memory card. So many devices comes under that category. So let us move ahead to see how exactly this system works, or how the data flows from one device to another device. First of all, we'll see the central processing unit, CPU. It is the electronic circuitry of a computer that carries out the actual processing and is usually referred to as the brain of the computer. It is also commonly called processor. Also, physically, a CPU can be placed one or more microchips, or we can say microprocessors, or integrated circuits IC. The IC comprises semiconductor materials. The CPU is given instructions and data through programs. The CPU then collects the program and data from the memory unit and performs arithmetic and logical operations as per the given instructions and stores the result back to the memory. While processing, the CPU stores the data as well as instructions in its local memory, that is called as registers. Registers are the part of a CPU chip and they are limited in size and number. Different registers are used for storing data, instruction or intermediate results. Data, instruction or results, these are the forms of input. Other than the registers, the CPU has two main components, ALU and CU. ALU means arithmetic logic unit and CU means control unit. ALU performs all the arithmetic and logical operations. Arithmetic means addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, these are there. Logical means what? Less than, greater than, equal to, not equal to, true, false, these are called as logical operations. So these all operations are handled by arithmetic and logical unit. CU means control unit. It controls all activities which are carried out in the CPU, or you can say that it controls sequential instruction execution, interprets instructions and guides data flow through the computer's memory, ALU and input or output devices. It is controlling overall all the activities which are carried out in the whole computer system. That CU is responsible for that. CPU is also popularly known as microprocessor. Actually, CPU is a small chip. Okay, CPU is a small chip. We are generally calling that vertical box which is near the monitor, that is called as a CPU. But it is not. CPU is actually one small microchip that is called as microprocessor, and that in that these three units are comprises ALU, CU and memory unit. Let us move ahead. Let us move to input devices. As per the diagram, first working unit is input unit. Input unit is helping to collect the information to give that data to the computer or CPU. You can see in the figure keyboard, mouse, scanner, touch screen, like this so many input units are there, like mic, then your barcodes reader is there, or scanner we can say. After that MICR, magnetic ink character reader or recognition, that is used to read the numbers of check in banks. Then OCR, OMR means that which checking that OMR sheets, that OMR machine. So many input devices are available. Touch screen is also input device. So the devices through which control signals are sent to the computer are termed as input device. It means, simple language I will explain to you, the devices which are getting some data or collecting some data from user and giving to the computer. Okay, which devices taking the data or instructions from the user to computer, that is called as an input device. These devices convert input data into signal, digital signal or digital form that is acceptable by the computer system. Some examples of input devices are keyboard, mouse, scanner, touch screen. I just told you that all things are there as per the figure. Let us see more about input devices. Specially designed Braille keyboards are also available to help the visually impaired or for entering data into a computer. Besides, we can now enter data through voice. For example, we can use Google Voice Search to search the web, where we can input and search string through our voice. Data entered through input device is temporarily stored in the main memory, that is MU, or it is also called as a RAM, random access memory, that we are going to see further. Types of memory we are going to learn, don't worry about it. So this data entered through input device is temporarily stored in the memory, main memory of the computer system for permanent storage and future use. The data as well as instructions are stored permanently in additional storage locations called secondary memory devices. Okay, for future use or permanently storing. In this main memory, this is temporary storage. Until and unless we are doing some processing, our data, our instructions are stored in temporary memory or RAM. So we can say like that, RAM is a temporary memory. And the secondary storage, it means when we want to save the work, after completion of work, we are going to save it for future use. That is stored in the secondary storage devices. For example, that we are going to see later on, but still I will tell you: hard disks, floppy disk, CD, DVD, pen drives, etc. Let us move to output devices. The output devices in the figure, it is shown there: a display monitor, speakers, then printer, 3D printer. So many output devices are there. The device that receives data from a computer system for display, physical production, etc. is called as output device. It converts digital information into human understandable language or form. For example, monitor, projector, headphone, speaker, printer, plotter. Okay, so many output devices are also available. Some output devices are shown in this figure there. So these output devices, in short, which devices are giving us the information, which output devices or which devices are giving the output, giving the result to the user, that is called as output devices. Okay, it may be in the form of soft copy or hard copy. Let us see that what is mean by that things. Now, braille display monitor is useful for a visually challenged person to understand the textual output generated by the computers. Braille, you people are knowing Braille language, that is useful for visually impaired people, those can't see. So for those people, this Braille language is used. So on the basis of that, computers also developed with the help of this Braille concept, and they have made like that keyboards and display devices also. Even some input output devices are also made, which are helping such people, those are visually impaired, like this way. Let us see about it now. The printer is the most commonly used device to get output in the physical hard copy format of the data. Three types of commonly used printers are there: inkjet, thermal printer, and dot matrix and laserjet. Okay, dot matrix printers were there. Those dot matrix printer are very safe, in fact we can say very cheap. Okay, the cost for the printing is very nominal, and maximum places, maximum officials, previously dot matrix printers were used. Why? Because it was very cheap, quality was okay. One more benefit was there: in officials like legal things or in government offices, we people need some carbon copies. So through the dot matrix printer, we can able to take carbon copies. The 2-3 papers were there together, bundle of that. In between that, carbon papers were there, and a big roll of that papers were there. And then have you inserted that paper in the printer, dot matrix printer, as soon as it start to print, that pins were there at the head. So those were sticking on that paper, like how we are writing on the paper with pen. So by that way, the carbon copies were made. So still some places for billing purpose, dot matrix printers are used, because for billing we need carbon copy, extra copy. So this dot matrix printer is used also, and we can say not exactly outdated, but still this inkjet and laserjet printer has overcome on this dot matrix nowadays, because inkjet and laserjet also nowadays come with less cost. That ink is very good one, and now less cost is there for that ink also. And many places inkjet, especially for color printouts, inkjet is very useful. Laserjet, in that also some color printers are available, but laserjet is, as compared to all, very fast and high quality. Nowadays there is a new type of printer called 3D printer, which is used to build physical replica of a digital 3D design. Previously we used to print on the paper, and on that paper only that material were printed, like font, design or something else. Now with the help of this 3D printer, we can print the models, the exact design and physical form of that particular thing we can print. These printers are being used in manufacturing industries to create prototypes of products. Their uses is also being explored in the medical field, particularly for developing body organs like hand, limbs we can say, or fingers, ear lobes, okay, sometime nose, lips, okay, like this. Even kidneys are also tried, means people are trying, the medical practitioners or we can say the medical scientists, those are planning, they are trying, they are researching on that thing. They are going to make available even the kidney, heart like bones or organs in the medical field. They are going to research and they are going to make it available very soon in future. So this 3D design, fantastic example I will give you. All are knowing that Iron Man movie. So in that Iron Man movie, the suit of Iron Man, the dress, the jacket or we can say the armor of the Iron Man is made with the help of this 3D printer. See that we can take a printout of the things nowadays. Okay, their usage is also being explored in the medical field for developing organs like leg, okay, then hands, fingers, like these things can be printed, and that will be the option, we can say the option for fiber things, or we can say any other metal things. So I want to stop here today's video. Till this video, now you people have to watch it very carefully. If you have any doubt in that, and input output devices are so many, okay, even we cannot take in one lecture all these devices. I would like to show you that all videos, all photographs of each and every input device, but as per the time constraint I am not able to show you immediately here, but in school I will show you definitely. Or if you just make it Google, you can get everything there in your just finger of or tip of finger. So my dear students, watch this video very carefully and learn it about it, all these input output devices, even the functions of CPU, memory, that also you see. And I'm going to upload this video, PDF also of the same video, so don't worry about the textual matter, you will get it for writing this text. Till that time you watch this video and collect some more information about this chapter like computer system. So here I'm going to end this session. Till the time, stay home, stay happy and stay safe.